One of the most important things an expert witness has to deal with is testifying in court. There are three main phases to testifying. They are the qualification as an expert, the direct examination, and the cross-examination. According to our textbook, the qualification portion is where you will prove that you are qualified to actually be an expert in that topic. It may bring up your educational background, it may bring up jobs that you have had previously to prove that you know what you are talking about. The direct examination is when the attorney that hired you actually brings you up and starts asking you questions about the case. They will start with your results you have, how you came to those results, what type of testing you did, what happened during your testing, any extra notes you may have had during that. During the direct examination, one of the many ways that you can help enhance your own enhance how you show things is to have actual documentation as you go. So when you are discussing your results, have that documentation to where it is shown and they can see where the numbers are coming from or where your conclusions may come from. During the cross-examination, that third phase, that is when the opposing attorney will come up and start questioning you, most of the time using leading questions and compound questions to control the conversation, according to our textbook. And they will do everything they possibly can to put doubt into the jury's mind, to show that you are not a reliable witness, to prove that your work is not reliable. This may come to some stuff that will come into play could be them attacking your education, them attacking your knowledge base. They could try to prove that you have bias into the work. One thing the textbook did say is you cannot get rid of all bias in your work, but you should be able to show that you do not let the bias completely control you. You may draw on your experiences and your knowledge itself to help with the conclusions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to draw on somebody else's opinions to make your conclusions. So, the compound questions and the leading questions, those are two basic cross-examination techniques to help for the attorney to control the conversation. A leading question, according to our textbook, is a question that suggests an answer. So it will be a simple yes or no, but it may not be an easy yes or no. A compound question, also according to our textbook, is a question with multiple parts. This is going to be a lot harder to answer as a yes or no, which is what most cross-examination attorneys want. They want a simple yes or no question. Because there is multiple parts, it may be impossible to actually just say yes or just say no. If that is the case, and with leading questions, if you have a question you cannot say a specific yes or specific no to, then you need to state that you cannot answer that with a yes or no, and that in turn will help show or tell your attorney that they need to come back to that topic when they come back out to redirect. The goal of the opposing counsel is to poke holes in your own conclusions. Either make the conclusion essentially a different hypothetical. Show that everything that you did, your result, is not the only result possible. You have to prove as the expert that it's the most probable result. It is beyond a doubt, without a doubt, the only thing that could have happened. But the opposing attorney will do everything they can to prove that it's not the only thing that happened. Or they will make it seem like you are not reliable, or the science itself is not reliable. To reduce any vulnerability you may have during cross-examination, you need to make sure you base everything on your facts of the case. All of your conclusions need to be scientific and factual, not completely based on opinion. There are different places that attorneys, either in the direct examination portion or the cross-examination, that the two attorneys can object. Some of these would be like leading questions or compound questions in the direct examination portion. Other places could be if the witness doesn't actually answer the question asked. Another could be like if a witness or an attorney asks a question that is making the witness speculate on something, not basing anything on facts. So the best way to prepare for a trial is to meet up with the attorney. Make sure you all are both on the same page before you walk into that courtroom. Make sure you know how questions are going to be asked. Make sure you know what language you are going to be using. And by language, what I mean is, like, as our textbook does state, attorneys use legal terms that we may not understand, or that even the jury may not understand, whereas us as an expert witness or a scientific person will use scientific terms that the jurors and the judge and the attorneys may not understand. So meeting beforehand, making sure that you all are both on the same page, it makes it easier to not have that misunderstanding of a language barrier. If for some reason you cannot meet with the attorney beforehand, you need to make sure you go over every portion of that case, every piece of evidence, every note you took for it, any type of paperwork that came from the attorney itself. It could be the interrogation or anything that you may need to look at. You need to go over it. You need to practice it. You need to know it by heart so you are not up there floundering for words. Thank you for your time.